Hello, everybody. This is for week 6, focusing on more of a mental health aspect, especially when it comes to depression and somewhat leading into more, potential for suicide among some patients or the thought of, committing that act. And in terms of physical therapy, our article, we're kind of talking about the role of physical therapy in kind of, working with a patient who might be going through, bouts of depression or these thoughts. It's really important that, we try to keep them as safe within our scope as practice as we can. So working on bounds, therapy activities, TheraX, but doing so in a manner that, is positive, but also tries to, maybe see how we can help promote their mental health while doing this, maybe taking away some of their fears or anxieties while we're doing exercise or while we're training them, and really promoting safety with them. So it's not too different, I'd say, in terms of what we're doing with them compared to a patient who isn't experiencing, depression. But it definitely shows that, hey, we do need to keep in mind how we say things and make sure we do things in a certain manner to hinder negative thoughts or feelings. And I find it kind of interesting in Jordan's post where he kind of talked about he might Baker act someone or call the police, and I feel like that's extreme. And I feel like a lot of people would feel like that might be extreme, but there are people out there who wouldn't think that's extreme, and I think that kind of furthers why we're having this discussion as to what is extreme and what might be taking the line a little too far in terms of working with these patients. But I do like our other article too. I forget what it's called, but it talked about, just how prevalent depression is. I think it said every 40 seconds someone's contemplating or committed suicide. I forget the exact wording on that, but it's very prevalent. And how these people, they can get very stuck in their ways, but they're constantly, you know, having these call outs for help. And it's kind of up to us to recognize the call out for help. And I like how, and I forget what article it was, but they kind of mentioned this building of a contract and trying to say, all right, let's try to establish these, these terms before we do anything drastic. And I do think that, a lot of these people, they want to live, right? The desire to live is strong in all of us. It's kind of like that teeter-totter like they talked about with desire to live and the feeling. So kind of making this contract and kind of help push that teeter-totter more towards the side of keeping them safe. But I do somewhat wonder too how many people would just say, yeah, I'm gonna, I agree to that, and then go back to what they're thinking or doing right after you leave. So I do feel like that's a double-edged sword. So I do think that would really depend on the patient, how well you feel like, they honor, to some extent their word, or how believable they are, or just how dead set in their ways they are. Because if they're pretty dead set, I think just a verbal thing wouldn't necessarily be enough. But overall, this was a personal topic to me because I've had, family members in my life who've committed suicide. So just trying to, hear about, topics and think about things that, might have been maybe good for some of my family members and how I can carry that over to people I work with in the future. I think it's really powerful, and I'm glad that we got to, talk about something like this this week because it's important, and it's very personal to me and to a lot of people. So thank you for your time and have a great rest of the week.